Hey, everyone, and welcome to Real Life Real Crime Daily for Friday, the 28th of July, and I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino. Hello, fellas.
Hello, and guess what? It's Freaky Friday. Jim didn't give all the teasers.
That's right.
Because we're going to surprise y'all.
That's right. These stories are so good, I didn't even want to tease
That's
people.
right.
Because they couldn't take no more if I told them
We
these
have
stories
a
up front.
bullshit meter in the studio, and it's I've never seen it hit the red line. It's about at the red line.
Part of it, I'm part of it. Y'all are going to be surprised. I'm going to tell you about a new thing that's going to come up.
Okay, well, I've got, before we deliver all the surprises of these stories, I have a few corrections and retractions.
Okay. All right.
The first one is a Mike correction retraction. I, along with many other news outlets, incorrectly told you that the alleged Long Island serial killer had a soundproof room in his basement. That was erroneous. That story was going around everywhere. He actually does have a vault. It is not soundproof, and police still do believe that that possibly one or more of the murders was committed in that room, but there is no soundproof room in that basement. Woody, being a world traveler and also somebody who's very up on pop culture,
I have no idea what he's going to say, y'all.
Declared himself in Thursday's episode as the South American correspondent on the basis of doing a story 200 yards south of Yuma, Arizona, in a city in Mexico.
It's called
So Woody,
Nogales.
So Woody. That doesn't count as being the South American correspondent.
I can't tell. You gave me a story that was in Mexico.
But that's not South America. That's
Well,
200.
you're right.
That's 200 yards off of North America. In the story about
go fuck yourself.
In the story about the Missouri boat accident.
Here we go. You're going to hammer me again.
No. In the story about the Missouri. No, I wish that I didn't know this person's correct name, because to me they're talentless and I don't know why they're famous. But they were talking about the guy that owned the boat and some of the famous people he had done stuff with from his LA custom shop, and you said he had done something with DJ Khaled.
What's his name?
K-Lad.
It's DJ Khaled.
Khaled.
You tell him I give a fuck about him. Right?
I am so proud of you for not knowing that, because I didn't know that. I don't. It's one of those people you go, how is this guy famous?
Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah, right. Marky Mark.
And
come on.
And this is sort of a correction.
Did you see they served a search warrant on that dude's resident in Tupac's case in Vegas last week?
Yeah. Sort of a correction for all of us. When Jim did his Mile High story for yesterday's episode and talked about the poor Brazilian man who said the word bomb, not one of us realized how easy it would have been for Karen, the military, the militant gate agent, to have just used Rosetta Stone and figured out instantly what the guy was saying. And if she'd have just...
How do you say bomb in Italian, Mike?
If she'd have just taken the 5 seconds to invest in Rosetta Stone, she'd have saved everyone in that flight all kinds of trouble.
Y'all, it's 40% off. The code is...
Today.
I know, but you got something before that. Rosetta Stone.
Rosetta Stone /
today. Go get it.
Get it today.
The final.
The
final correction retraction.
Everybody
was kind of right, but a guy by the name of inmate James Scott, fought a series of fights out of Rahway State Prison in the late 70s and early 80s. It was a brainchild of the wardens, who said, if you can raise money, we'll do it from here. And HBO came in and partnered with them, and the guy actually won a belt from inside of the prison. And I understand
that was killing him.
You guys were in diapers, so you're forgiven.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I was actually like 8 years old. So
I might have been in diapers still.
All the other shit on the show, we got
7
right
to 4.
people. Everything else
how
we were dead
HBO
right.
wasn't even around in 1978.
Yeah, no, that's right. It was right when they were formed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right in the very beginning.
When they actually showed movies.
It's actually
Yeah.
a risky maneuver on their part.
Well,
right. Well, there
I think
you
it's
go.
time to get into some crime.
Let's roll with it.
We're going to bring you to Louisiana first. And a 1-year-old girl has drowned in just 9 inches of water left at the bottom of a kiddie pool at her Louisiana home. Nevaeh Fugate and her 4-year-old sibling were playing in the backyard of their Kenner home on Thursday night when a dog knocked the toddler into the pool.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it's horrible. It had been mostly drained, but it still had about 9 inches of water at the bottom. The children's grandfather was supposed to be watching the children at the time and now may be facing negligent homicide charges.
Yeah.
Police said they received the call about a drowning at 8:15 p.m. on Thursday, and when officers arrived at the scene, a 4-year-old explained what had happened. Cunningham said that when Nevaeh was pulled from the pool, she had a pulse, but she later died. Her grieving mother, Sandra Fugate, has full custody of her children, but said that her father was watching them at the time. Authorities say an investigation into the death is ongoing. It will include further interviews with the 4-year-old witness and toxicology reports from the adult. Charging decisions could hinge on those results. Nevaeh's drowning death came just 2 days before an unidentified 7-year-old Slidell, Louisiana boy drowned in his home's above-ground pool. Little information has been released about that case, but St. Tammany coroner Dr. Charles Preston said the drowning death appears to have happened when the boy was temporarily unattended. Sadly, these deaths occur all too often, and each and every one of them is avoidable. That from the coroner. Officials and local doctors are now warning parents and guardians to keep close eyes on their children around water. Seems obvious. And Dr. Anna Sussman, a pediatrician, says drownings can happen even in shallow water. If a younger infant who doesn't know even how to roll over yet can't prevent themselves or get themselves up out of water. If they are surrounded by water in their nose and mouth area, they can and will suffocate. The doctor says she employed strict water precautions with her own children and said, first of all, you have to have a vocal response from an adult saying, yes, you can enter the water. Feet first always, and that depends on if you are wearing swimmies. It really should be an adult in constant eyesight with no phones or any other distractions. Believe it or not, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that there are an average of 11 drownings each day in the United States. Even near drownings can leave victims with long-term disabilities from brain damage. So what do you guys think on this? The grandfather, assuming the toxicology report comes back and he wasn't under any influence of anything, is...
Let me tell you something, man. I don't ever talk about them, but I've worked so many kid death cases where it's just accidents like this is, even though, I mean, I guess if he was watching, maybe we would have seen it or whatever. I don't know. The hardest thing in the world is have to interview these parents or, they're grieving.
Yeah.
Even if you're a shitty
he's
parent,
suffering.
you're shitty, unless you
assuming
killed him, you're suffering. And it's just bad. There's no winner in this situation. If he was high on whatever and didn't pay attention, then I'm sure they'll hit him with something. But it's just, I mean,
it's a grandfather.
It's horrible.
The pain he's going to feel for
Forever.
the rest of his life. I had, when I was in 5th grade, I remember it like it was yesterday, 2 friends that went swimming together in the bay, and some spots in the bay have just really, really muddy. The bottom is really muddy. You can be in 3 feet of water, and it's like being in quicksand. And one of them got stuck in it and actually got his head stuck in it and drowned at age 10 in 5th grade. And the kid that was with him, not been in contact with him for years now, but all the way through high school. I mean, he carried it with him everywhere, thought about it every day.
Sure.
Because he couldn't get him out.
Just horrible.
yeah, it's horrible.
Boom.
Too many memories.
I'm going to grab my eyeglasses.
All right.
We're letting this episode run with everything that happens behind the scenes, and we're cutting nothing. So this is Jim's first time out of the room. He's run to get glasses. There'll be a pee stop that I'll have to do.
No, not today. I get because we're in a time crunch today. He's gonna hold it.
You're batting a buck,
huh? But he's got to get out of here at a certain time. We're in a time crunch, so I bet you he's gonna hold his pee. He's recording everything.
He may go in his pants.
He's talking to the people like
if it's that tight, he may have to go in his pants.
But he's recording like we never stopped recording.
Right.
He said this is Jim's first time out of the room.
Talking shit.
All right, y'all.
Just because he can hold his piss for 2 days straight.
Right. That was a horrible story. Let me take you to Bryan Kohberger, y'all. Bryan Kohberger might claim an alibi. The Idaho murder suspect might rely on an alibi during his upcoming trial. Kohberger, 29, who is standing silent in the case, reiterated his right to silence in a Monday filing responding to the state's demand to present an alibi. A judge entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf after his attorney said he would stand silent at a hearing back in May. Ann Taylor, his public defender, said evidence corroborating Mr. Kohberger's being at a location other than the King Road address when the murders occurred on November 13th will be disclosed. His attorneys also anticipate the cross-examination of witnesses produced by the state and calling expert witnesses during the trial. This is standard, y'all. According to the experts, this filing is just providing the notice that the defense might rely on an alibi without the defendant testifying. It's possible the defense may try and use the cell phone data to put the defendant in a location not close to the murder scene. Alibi is an affirmative defense, so notice to the state is required under Idaho law. And when the government calls experts to talk about cell towers and the location of cell phone, things like that, then perhaps the defense is going to cross-examine those experts on cell phone information to establish that his cell phone was somewhere else. Kohberger, a former criminology PhD student at Washington State, is y'all know this. He's charged with 4 counts of murder and burglary. And, the investigators determined that his phone registered pinged at the crime scene between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. on November 13th, and then around 9 a.m., roughly 3 hours before the police said they received the 911 call reporting the murders. And that was all according to an affidavit filed in January. We've covered this story, and Nashville will continue to bring you to this horrible case.
And I think in Bryan Kohberger's case, he knows just enough about the law to keep his mouth shut, and that's creating a lot of, unsubstantiated innuendo from people of maybe he's got an alibi, and that's why he's not. Right. I don't know. He's certainly going to claim everything he can to get out of it
because he's going to get the death penalty.
Absolutely.
They claimed last month that the sheath was planted evidence.
Yeah, they're going to with it. What are they going to say?
How do you plant evidence when at the time you don't know who did it?
They've got to do their jobs. What are they going to say? Yeah, our client left it there. They're not going to say that. They're going to say it's planted, right?
Yeah.
I don't really understand this standing silent thing. Is that a commonly done thing?
I think he's such a psychopath and he's so narcissistic that he thinks he's the smartest person in that whole courtroom, and he's going to ride it out. So we'll see. He wouldn't be the first one, won't be the last. Can't wait to see him fry his ass.
Well,
holy cow, that rhyme.
Right? Give me a dime, I made a rhyme.
Poet and didn't know it.
Well, speaking of psychos, we've already conjectured around the table here over the last few episodes that there's no way in our minds that Rex Heuermann committed these 3 or 4 select murders on Long Island and never murdered anywhere else. And lo and behold, story emerges about a serial killer that was labeled the Eastbound Strangler in the Atlantic City area in the early 2000s. So The arrest of suspected Long Island serial killer Rex Heuermann has prompted investigators across the country to re-examine similar cold case murders, right? So people are looking for
they do that anytime somebody gets busted in a case like this.
Including nearby, well, I wouldn't say nearby, it's a good 3 hours away, Oceanfront Enclave, where 4 sex workers were found lined up dead in a sewage ditch back in 2006. So this would be 4 years prior to the Gilgo Beach stuff, and in a very similar kind of setup with a very similar MO dealing with sex workers. 2 women walking in a marsh behind a row of motels just west of Atlantic City stumbled across a gruesome sight back in November of 2006. They found the remains of Kim Raffo, who was 35, so a little older than his normal demographic. And police arrived to discover 3 more women in the same pit. Tracy Ann Roberts, age 23, Molly Ditz, age 19, and Barbara Brador, again, a little outside of his demo, age 42. Like Heuermann's suspected prey, the victims of New Jersey's Eastbound Strangler were all sex workers. They were all posed in the same direction, placed face down in filthy water and barefoot. Farther behind the hotel is the Atlantic City Expressway. The AC Expressway, having been on both of these roads, is very similar to Ocean Parkway, the road in Long Island that we're talking about. So it would be a really similar setting for him to have done that. A dancer from a club called Stiletto, which is a strip club on the boardwalk in Atlantic City.
Sounds like fun to me.
Yeah.
Said
I thought it was a church.
Said she believes she may have seen Heuermann 3 separate times, twice before the pandemic and 1 more time in 2021. All 3 times, she said, he paid for a private room but declined a lap dance. He just wanted me to sit and talk with him and then would keep trying to persuade me to meet him outside of the club. I never went. I've met people outside the club before, so I'm not a total stranger to it, but this guy did not make me feel comfortable enough to do that. She said she believes he left her alone after the 3rd visit because she'd gained some weight following the birth of her 2nd child, which is an interesting observation. You'll recall that despite his, quote, ogre-like size of 6'6", 275, Heuermann's suspected victims had all been really petite, with 3 of them under 5 feet tall and around 100 pounds. All 4 of these bodies in Atlantic City fit the petite part of the description. So while she said she didn't or she couldn't be fully sure that the man was Heuermann, she described him as a large New Yorker with a similar face. Although he stopped going to the club, Heuermann's distinctive features rattled the Atlantic City dancer 1 more time, she said. I do know I did see him on Tinder too. When the Suffolk County prosecutors released the photos he used on Tinder, my jaw nearly dropped, she said. So the dancer said she'd been afraid for years due to the unsolved slayings in Gilgo as well as Atlantic City, and noted her club is close to the road leading out of the town to the former Golden Key motel. So again, even she observed that the setting there was very similar to the one on Long Island. A parking attendant next door said he recognized Heuermann as an infrequent visitor to the club. So did the clerks at several stores along the boardwalk. Heuermann's wife and adult children have a connection to Atlantic City, which makes it logical from that standpoint. Heuermann is reported to be a heavy drinker, but bartenders in the area said they weren't sure if they recognized him from the TV coverage or from in person. But some of them said they recognized him. Atlantic City also has a lot in common with one of Heuermann's other preferred destinations, Las Vegas, meaning all the gambling. So at this point, it's things that make you go, but I mean, it's a very
I said
similar.
in the beginning, he's got way more bodies on it than them. So pretty. Maybe he got comfortable, started dumping them close or whatever. In the beginning, he's spread out.
Yeah.
He's got more than 3 bodies on him.
Well, we'll see what kind of evidence they are able to get together from here in Atlantic City. And
I'm predicting that they're going to pull some DNA from way back when on one of these girls, and it's going to match up to this idiot.
Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glaze, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had.
Hey, y'all, changing my wardrobe from summer to fall, it's never easy. Luckily, Quince offers timeless and high-quality items I adore, ensuring my wardrobe stays fresh and I don't blow my budget. And there's nothing easier than going to Quince and choosing these high-quality items, like cashmere sweaters from $50, pants for every occasion, washable silk tops, and so much more. The best part? All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, and I love that. I got the stainless steel Link Apple Watch band for $59.90. It's heavy duty, it's awesome, and it's like $100 less than I could find anywhere else. And I also got a 100% organic cotton fisherman quarter zip up sweater. The color is alabaster. Man, I can't wait to wear that this fall. And Cindy got the Mongolian cashmere boat neck sweater in heather gray. And I'm telling you, these are classic pieces at a fraction of the price. Make switching seasons a breeze with Quince's high-quality closet essentials. Go to quince.com/RLRC for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/RLRC to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/RLRC. You'll thank me later.
All right. Michael, keep us posted for sure on that. Right. A naked man has been terrorizing a Los Angeles apartment complex, and police say there's little they can do.
Really?
Residents have the intruder on security cameras on multiple occasions. The unknown man has been seen at least 5 times walking through the outside areas of the apartment complex. And incidentally, we have some footage that we're going to upload to Facebook that will it'll blow your mind. This is just a naked man on a stroll. Woody Overton.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. He's running around naked, the resident says, adding that families are concerned because there are children in the building. Neighbors have since banded together. Think of it like a neighborhood watch. Using surveillance cameras to catch the intruder in the act, one resident said the man was seen touching himself sexually while walking naked in the hallways. Surveillance footage shared with police showed the man wandering without clothes on the outside of dwellings, and one clip appears to show the man breaking through the window of an apartment. Uh-oh. Now he's not so innocent. Now he's just not a man that wants to be free. Wants to be me. You remember that song, I Want to Be Free? Residents said they do not know why the naked man breaks into the locked apartment complex and have made multiple complaints to LAPD. Police said that while the department is aware of the complaints, and this is what's perplexing to me, officers cannot arrest the man since no crime has been committed.
Oh, shit. He's walking around naked. They got him on video.
Period.
Yeah,
that's a crime.
That's called,
apparently in LA, that's not a crime.
Well, yeah, that's the assuming crimes everywhere else on Earth are going to also be crimes in Los Angeles is you can't make that assumption anymore. Yeah, so right. I don't know if now you're allowed to just walk.
It also
freely
may
naked
be
around LA.
I mean, it's indecent exposure, if nothing else.
And the cops are like, I'm not fucking with that.
Yeah, that's what I think. You would think, well, maybe they're too busy, and they're like, this guy's not.
They got him on video.
He wants to be free. He wants to be me.
They should put him on the local news and lock his ass up.
Well, I think that's the bigger thing is they know with the current laws there that if he's arrested, he'll be out in a couple hours anyway. Right. And so what sense does it make?
That's right. Well, I mean, well, he wants to be free.
Yeah. Free Willy, right?
Free Willy.
Again, y'all, since I'm an official South American correspondent, Mikey didn't know I had this one. I'm going to bring you another story. Even though it's not South America, it may be more Central America, Mexico, whatever. But
okay,
anyway.
let's just end the debate and make you the official Mexican correspondent.
I don't
you notice I'm giving away all the territory.
I was trying to give you shit the other day because I know you how you are about stories. But anyway, so following anonymous tips, check this out. Listen, following an anonymous tip, the remains of 27 people, their bodies hacked into pieces, were found in a clandestine burial ground in Reynosa, Mexico, just 4 miles, Mike, south of the border earlier this month.
Oh, that's definitely south.
The graves, the graves were uncovered, and this is serious. I got to not laugh. The graves were uncovered by a volunteer collectivo made up of the relatives of disappeared persons. On July 14th, the Attorney General's office in the Mexican state of Tamaulipas said in a statement earlier this week, noting that the office has opened an investigation into the site. Forensics experts worked at the site for 4 days. The office said recovering what could be as many as 27 skeletons. Forensic specialists in human ID are working to identify each of the victims. Volunteers said 4 people have thus far been identified by loved ones from distinguishing tattoos preserved in chunks of skin. Many of the bodies, however, were dismembered into a half a dozen pieces, which will make identification more difficult. Such mass graves are not uncommon throughout Mexico and by the border, where cartels and other gangs often unload victims' bodies into mass graves. There are some 100,000 disappeared and missing people in Mexico, and 13,000 of them are from Tamaulipas, the state with the second most number of disappeared people behind Jalisco, right? With almost 15,000. Desire in Mexico to recover lost loved ones has led to the formation of collectivos like the Search Party for the Love of the Disappeared, who located this secret burial ground in Reynosa last week. The gravesite, which was near an irrigation canal containing the 27 recovered bodies, included 16 burial pits, some with several body dumps inside and covered with just 1.5 feet of dirt. And several of the bodies appeared to have been buried recently. It's quite dangerous for these collectivos because the cartels will sometimes call in fake tips of burial grounds and set up ambushes for local law enforcement agents.
Geez, so even the people looking to find these people are at risk because they get tips that could be fake tips.
I miss the good old Mexico days when we could go across to the border town, have fun. Now you can't do it anymore.
I'm going to tell you what, Woody, that was one of the best international correspondent stories I've ever heard.
Except for you do in South Asia.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the rest of them suck. Right?
I think your accents are Yeah, I think there's a battle there. Who's doing Spanish better than he's doing
Asian? I do a great Asian.
You do,
You
Jim.
do. You do. I give you that.
We'll give you a chance to do that later.
Rosetta Stone /
Hey,
Daily.
raise your hand if you were a frat boy.
Right here.
Okay.
Sigma Chi.
Really? I was double legacy Sigma Chi, but I'm Sigma Ni.
Pi Kappa Alpha. Clemson frat boys are in trouble.
Oh, yeah. Prep boys always in trouble.
A Clemson University fraternity house has drawn a 4-year suspension after an investigation found that new members were being initiated with rituals that involved salt-like materials that caused burns. Clemson sanctioned the only chapter of Alpha Gamma Rho in the state last week, according to the Post and Courier. An independent probe stemming from a spring complaint had uncovered that new pledges also reportedly faced sleep deprivation. University documents mention ice water baths and another form of hazing. The chapter accepted responsibility and mutually agreed to the penalty. Philip Sykes, a Clemson University spokesperson, said all student organizations are, quote, held to high standards of behavior and expected to uphold those at all times. He added that the Office of Fraternity and Sorority Life provides anti-hazing training and awareness to all chapters. As a university, we take all allegations of hazing within our student organizations very seriously, Sykes told the AP. This punishment is the latest meted out by Clemson for Greek life violations. A 4-year suspension began in the fall for Pi Kappa Phi over personal servitude by new members and morally degrading behavior, according to university documents. Delta Tau Delta has been suspended since the fall of 2020 after reports of similar incidents alongside underage alcohol provision. Boys, anyone care to jump in with an initial comment on this?
I'll jump
if
in.
not, I've got a story or two.
They couldn't have lived back in my day.
Hell no. Ice water bath.
Yeah, right.
That's good for you.
Sleep deprivation. Shit, you better
Sleep
believe
deprivation.
the shit that we did that I can't even get into. But back in my day, now you can't have alcohol and everything else. Back in my day on Friday evenings, they pulled in the Budweiser truck, had 6 kegs in it. It had 3 taps on each side, and that bitch would be empty by Saturday morning, right? Yeah. We'd grease down the whole hallway with beer and do a beer slide. And you talking about hazing? Shit. I can't tell. I mean, everything we did obviously was illegal.
Absolutely. And look, there are some deaths that you read about horrible. With the alcohol where they're forcing them to drink so much. And none of us, I'm sure, agree with that. But ice water baths? I mean, come on. I know people that do that for the healing quality.
Right. Yes. Sleep
deprivation. I get that every night.
Go to Hell Week, where I went to Hell Week, and see what it's about.
If you think back, look, I think back on some of the stuff we did and the bonding that goes on and friendships that last for life because of things you endured together and the appreciation you have because you also do it. The whole notion of pledgeship is, all as one. One guy screws up, everyone screws up. And so you're picking up the weakest link in the group and there's, an incredible camaraderie that develops because of that. Lots of good comes from that. Yeah. What they're doing, every one of these universities has just watered this down to nothing. Greek life is
where it used to be back in our day. You were either Greek or you weren't, right? Or you were GDI, and nowadays it's almost frowned upon to be Greek.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. My son just became a pledge. They actually do it the summer before school even starts. Right. He had to fly in ahead of time, and that all just happened a week ago, and I'll provide some reports when I can, but I'm hoping that he has some kind of real experience. Not he doesn't get put on probation for having to take an ice water bath.
Double secret
probation.
Look, this is a good time for a segment, and we come across these WTFs.
Yes.
And as I was reading over this article, I'm thinking this is definitely a WTF.
This is a WTF.
We got to come up.
This is a WTF.
Some music.
Oh, I have an idea.
People love our segments.
I have an idea for it. I don't want to say it live.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it off air. But so we'll have some music for our WTFs when we come across them. And in this one, a Florida man was arrested after a woman reported he submerged her head in a vat of tar last week. Never heard this one.
Vat of tar anymore.
That's right. That makes you say WTF, right? Marshall Demick, 57, was charged with aggravated battery and aggravated assault with a firearm. Police responded to a domestic disturbance report on July 20th. The victim and her friend provided statements to police about the incident, which stemmed from an argument. During the argument, Demick dunked her head in a vat of tar-like substance that is used to treat clam and oyster bags. The suspect also allegedly pointed a gun at her and choked her. As a convicted felon, Demick was also charged with 4 counts of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. So get this, the suspect removed several of his guns from his home before police arrived. He knew they were coming, right? He'd get rid of the firearms, but they were recovered by authorities at a nearby property. Demick is a convicted felon and is prohibited from possessing a firearm.
That's 5 years for each firearm Project Exile Federal.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you
so
was
however many of that is.
Yeah, he was stashing them everywhere. He knew they were coming. So he did get transported to jail where he is held on a $500,000 bond. Duncan ahead in a tar vat I have not seen.
That is a WTF.
That is
sure.
I
was trying to figure out where you can get tar from, and unless they're asphalt or something, but it could be like creosote and all the poles.
I think that's essentially what it is, because they say it treats clam and oyster bags, so it must be a sticky substance that you can wipe it off, and it just pulls that nastiness off of those clams and all that.
WTF. That was certainly
tar bath.
Certainly a good one. Let me take you to Texas. You ever stay at an Air BNB?
Sure.
All right. But you hadn't stayed at this one. A Texas couple is suing a Maryland man for $75,000 after he allegedly planted hidden cameras inside multiple rooms of an Airbnb they rented back in August. The lawsuit, filed by Kaylee Gates and her fiance, Christian Perot, alleges an invasion of privacy perpetrated by the property owner, Christopher Goisi. The couple stumbled upon the hidden cameras in the bathroom while engaging in intimate relations, causing them immediate distress and shock, according to the court documents. Recalling this distress and moment, Gates said, "I went into pure panic, pure shock mode." The couple was intimate while in the shared bathroom, then lay down on the bed, put a movie on, and began to relax. It was at this point they noticed a smoke detector positioned above the bed in the center of the ceiling and another one in the corner, arousing their suspicion, right? I have 2 in the same room. Under closer inspection, they discovered that these smoke detectors were in fact what they believed to be cleverly disguised cameras. Their suspicions grew when they found an identical device in the bathroom. Gates expressed the emotional turmoil that came following the unsettling revelation of the hidden camera, stating, "I definitely have had many cry sessions about it." Describing the feelings of embarrassment, humiliation, disgrace, and loss of dignity, Gates said she left the Airbnb immediately to seek accommodation at a hotel and promptly reported the matter to the police. In response to the report, law enforcement officers investigated the residence and found another video recording device camouflaged as a smoke detector in the basement where another guest was staying. Goisi, the guy that owned the Airbnb, y'all, denied any wrongdoing when confronted about the incident a year ago by a local TV station. He suggested the possibility that the guests might have planted, the guests might have planted devices themselves before reporting the matter to the police. The lawsuit contends that he obstructed the investigation by refusing to allow the Montgomery County Police Department to search his twin brother Larry's bedroom, which had been locked at the time, and they just charged him with a bunch of other shit, y'all. The $75,000. I would want more than that.
Yeah, that's surprisingly low number.
You getting me doing a porno? You got to pay more than $75,000.
That's right. That's right. Hey, look, we could use that on a patron.
Yeah, but
unedited version.
I'm surprised.
First Pam Anderson, now Woody Overton.
I'm surprised we haven't heard of a lot more of those, because a lot of time, I mean, especially in certain locations, the Airbnbs are just for spring breakers and young folks were a lot of hanky-panky.
I can't believe they put 2 smoke detectors in one bedroom.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of
They were looking for multiple angles on the smoke, I think.
Well, they wanted
No blind
in case,
spots.
in case they go to the closet to get dressed, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, look, Airbnbs are becoming extremely popular now, and I have personally I've always stayed at the hotels, right? And that is kind of course, that could happen in a hotel as well as it could in an
Like
Airbnb.
Dick hairs left on my pillow.
Right. But I would say much less likely than an Airbnb, because you have so much control over that, and you don't have to worry about someone else coming in and checking behind you. And with the popularity and the growth, that is something you got to worry about versus staying at a
most
Hilton.
Are never going to see that, and I can't. All the people that stayed there before are going to come back and file suit now too, I would imagine. Oh yeah, I saw it.
Hey, the guy in L.A. wouldn't have filed suit. The one walking around naked. He would have liked it.
He'd have been just fine.
Showed his junk right there on TV. Hey,
but Jim, I mean, the Vrbo and Airbnb have taken off because, when you're on vacation with the family, to be able to have a 2,000, 2,500 square foot house or townhouse or condo, whatever, where you have complete privacy and everything else, and it's basically at the equivalent or close to the equivalent nightly price as a hotel. I mean, to me, whenever we go as a family, we do that. We don't stay at hotels.
There's no doubt about it. And look, I have 3 kids. So for me, for a family to go to a hotel, we either have to get two rooms or get a giant suite, because only 4 people are allowed in one room in a regular size hotel room. So I get it. But you do give up some of the control that you would have in a hotel setting where there's all these regulations, and you take that risk. So Mike, you might be on video.
But you and Wendy get your quiet.
I actually stayed in one.
We video our own stuff.
I stayed.
We don't have to worry about anybody.
I'm not booming that.
I stayed in one that was Mike's yacht. Actually, the Airbnb was the yacht.
Yeah, they do that.
That was cool shit. Me and Cindy and WL many years ago. And,
where was that?
That was right on the Florida-Alabama line. Basically Gulf Shores or Perdido Key, whatever you want to call it. It was cool there. Staying in the marina. And
yeah, they do both.
I've never been on a yacht.
Rocking, don't come knocking.
Never been on a yacht, Woody, ever.
Yeah. Well, this one
I'll take you out.
Wasn't that nice. Yeah, he'll take you.
Been in a bathtub. Does that count?
I've been in a bathtub too.
We'll do a video from there. The audience loves it. We've talked a couple times about Aaron Hernandez. I'm trying to remember why we brought him up, but we brought him up.
He was on Netflix.
Well, his brother is in the news. I didn't even know he had a brother. So Dennis DJ Hernandez, the older brother of troubled former NFL star, now deceased troubled former NFL star Aaron Hernandez, has been arrested after police say he allegedly had been planning 2 school shootings. TMZ broke the story on Tuesday afternoon. Police claim that Hernandez appeared to be plotting shootings at both the University of Connecticut, which is in Storrs, Connecticut, and Brown University, Ivy League school in Providence, Rhode Island, according to the Bristol, Connecticut Police Department arrest documents. The documents state that several people came forward to claim that Hernandez was, quote, displaying very erratic behavior and showing concerning signs of being, quote, gravely disabled and a danger to society. According to the documents, one person told police she received a series of disturbing texts from Hernandez, including one that allegedly said, quote, we're taking lives if shit isn't paid up. It's been years in planning, just taking notes, names, and locations. They talked their way into this, and it's almost point game. Another person claiming to be Hernandez's ex-girlfriend told police she was concerned about his mental health and that he borrowed her car to drive to his scheduled July 7th court date, but instead of going to the court date, he traveled to both Brown and UConn to, quote, map the schools out. She said he, quote, went into a number of classrooms and buildings while on the campuses. The ex-girlfriend also told police Hernandez was, quote, rambling about the incident and said, quote, he has a bullet for everyone. This is all in these documents that the Bristol police have. The The arrest documents also state that Hernandez made numerous social media posts that contained threatening and concerning language, and that many of the messages were ramblings about those who have wronged him. So he had some kind of vendetta here. One post allegedly included the final line, quote, "Will I kill? Absolutely. I've warned my enemies, so I've paid up front." Police went to Hernandez's residence on July 18th, where a standoff allegedly ensued. When Hernandez failed to open the door, an officer contacted him on his mobile phone. The officer then relayed to his department that Hernandez had told them he was, quote, "on foot, armed, and that if we approached him, he will try to kill us." Shortly after, Hernandez exited the home and began advancing towards police with his hands outstretched to the side. He started yelling, "Shoot me," in almost a daring them to do it kind of way, and ignored numerous police commands. Hernandez was then tasered. They subdued him and subsequently were able to take him into custody. He was later taken to a local hospital for evaluation, where police say he continued to make threats, among them that he was, quote, "planning to still kill anyone who profited off of his brother Aaron." After his release from the hospital, Hernandez was transported to the Bristol Police Department, where he was booked on charges of threatening and breach of peace. He's currently being held on $250,000 bond. He was arrested back in May when he led police in a pursuit. He was arrested a second time days later when he threw a bag with a brick and a handwritten note at ESPN's campus in Bristol, Connecticut. So he threw a brick into ESPN's campus. Earlier this month, he missed his court date for the ESPN incident, which led to a third arrest. And we all know the story of his brother Aaron, who played the 3 short seasons with the Patriots and was destined for stardom on the field before his life completely fell apart.
His life didn't fall apart. He murdered people and then killed himself.
Wow.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah, and apparently you didn't learn from your younger brother's mistakes, or older brother's mistakes, rather. And
maybe he's smoking shit or something. I don't know.
Well, they supposedly had a really effed up upbringing, and were very involved in gangs all the way through.
A lot of people.
I know. I'm not making excuses for that, but it's just.
Well, and I will say again, the documentary on Netflix is great.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's about Aaron Hernandez, and it's just an amazing documentary. So check that out, if you're so inclined.
Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill, and calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore, because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone supporting supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
I love that part. Mile High Crimes for Friday.
Mile high.
And look, y'all, we're going to go to Mike's hangout when he's not in Louisiana.
Philadelphia.
John F. Kennedy International Airport.
Yeah.
He
You like
knows it well.
JFK lately. You've been
Fortunately,
there
I've been
quite a
there,
bit.
yeah.
He knows it well. And a man has been arrested by police at JFK after TSA officers detected a loaded gun in the man's backpack as he entered the security checkpoint.
Brilliant.
However, this is not your normal situation. This man, a resident of Queens, New York, worked at the airport at one of the retail shops. So TSA secured the handgun and notified Port Authority police. Upon the man's arrest, his airport security ID badge was confiscated, and the badge is required of individuals who work on the secure side of the airport. Without it, of course, the man is no longer able to work there. It was a .45 caliber handgun. It was loaded with 4 bullets, confiscated by Port Authority police. And in addition to his arrest, he also faces some federal financial penalties, and they can reach as high as $15,000 for bringing a weapon to an airport checkpoint, depending on the circumstances. John Essig, who is the TSA's federal security director for the airport, says it was a good catch on the part of our TSA officers. We are seeing a record high number of travelers because at this point they were within that July 4th travel period, and this is no time to be carrying prohibited or illegal items. I don't think any time would be a time, but get this, y'all. Just the day before that, TSA screened nearly 2.8 million travelers nationwide. That's how busy they are during these screenings. It was the 6th firearm they had detected at the airport's checkpoints so far this year. In 2022, 7 guns were removed from carry-on bags at the airport. Now, last year, 6,542 firearms were caught at 262 out of 430 airport security checkpoints nationwide. 88% of those guns were loaded. I knew Mike would like those stats. He loves that. TSA reserves the right to issue a civil penalty to individuals who have guns and gun parts with them at checkpoints, even gun parts. This applies to people with or without concealed carry permits, because even though an individual may have a concealed carry permit, it does not allow for a firearm to be carried on an airplane.
How about that?
Yeah, so, note to self, don't bring a clip to the airport,
Right.
Don't bring a gun to the airport, and you'll be fine, right? It seems like common sense, but people...
Every day, mile high.
You can now take off that belt and move freely around the cabin.
I could listen to that all day long, Tiffany Seagar, just saying. And what a follow up to a Mile High. Gotta get
Kinky
kinky
crimes
after
for
Mile High
Friday, y'all.
crimes.
Man, this story brings back some memories, but not for me. I shouldn't have said that shit.
That brings back memories. Ooh, I can't wait to get into this.
Case of a neurosurgeon who this happened to. But listen, so this is freaking crazy. A Tennessee woman has been charged with reckless homicide for what her attorney says was the accidental asphyxiation of her husband after he consented to be bound and gagged.
Whoa.
Right? Happens all the time.
It's kinky.
The whole family is upset with what occurred. Selma Patterson, an attorney representing 25-year-old Rebecca Bargy, said, "We stand by the fact that this was an accident." Rebecca placed duct tape over James's mouth and eyes and put a ball gag in his mouth and then tied a bandage around his head.
Slow down, Woody. You can't just glaze over a ball gag.
Right. So, again, she placed duct tape. That's going to fucking hurt, right? Over his mouth and eyes.
It don't hurt that long.
No, yeah.
She was playing the home version of the Pulp Fiction game.
Right, and put a ball gag in his mouth and then tied a bandage around his head, leaving only his nostrils showing.
Oh, my God.
She also tied his hands and legs behind his back. She then left him for 20 hours.
Oh.
Right?
This ain't fun no more.
Apparently, this was not the first time it happened, the sheriff's detective said of the bondage. Authorities found the 29-year-old's body around 4 p.m. Wednesday. Rebecca faces up to 12 years in prison, found guilty. The proof will show that James consented to this being done to him and that he was an active participant, her attorney said. Mona Phillips, Rebecca's mom, said it was an accident, but his sister thinks it was intentional. Police think they know where Rebecca was during the 20 hours she left her bound husband alone, and it may change the way they prosecute the case.
Up here it comes.
Detective said she stayed with another man.
I knew it.
In a cuckold, right? I know that term,
Cucky.
right? Detective said she stayed with another man in a local motel
Lock
at
it
least
up.
2 days last week. And Bargy met him online and bought his airline ticket from California. And no, y'all, it wasn't Mike. Detective said she left briefly and returned home to see her husband. Rebecca Bargy has a bond hearing, blah, blah, blah. She's pled not guilty of the charges. She's facing up to 12 years in prison. So I had a neurosurgeon that they almost as important for the sexual deviant to commit the act is to record it in some way. And this neurosurgeon would have his wife take this big, long piece of rebar, ran up his whole body, and then the whole ball and gagged and leather hood and handcuffed shackles. Well, she would leave, but she made a promise. She made a promise not to, go outside the home. And this is big, beautiful home. Well, this fucker evidently had a camera set up on the sidewalk out front, and he went out and he tripped and he fell and he cracked his head and he bled out. She comes home. Her neurosurgeon husband is all bound and gagged, and she had to call the cops. And then she tried to lie it, and then it came out, obviously. I mean,
Well,
they
here's the question.
That was an accident.
Yeah, you can't prosecute.
You can't bound and gag yourself like this dude was done.
Right, but okay. So the question is she liably in trouble for that?
No, she's not. But it's
embarrassing as hell.
She lied. She try to say like somebody did this to my husband.
So you should have just fessed up.
That really didn't work out for you.
But in
You should have said we kinky.
But in your story, it would have been much better if she would have said she saw a toddler on the side of the interstate and gotten out and then just gone for 2 days and come back.
Yeah,
that would have been much
kinky crime.
No one would have died. It would have been more believable.
That was really kinky. Freaking ball gag.
I don't want banjos. No banjos.
Nope.
No banjos?
No banjos.
Breaking alert. Breaking alert.
Breaking alert. You're doing
what's that called? Breaking alert.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Interrupts us. Bring you this real life, real crime daily announcement. I'm about to steal Mike's thunder.
This is a little strange.
This is highly inappropriate.
Woody is taking the mic to make this announcement.
We had a meeting.
A board meeting.
A board meeting.
A board meeting.
I wish we had a board. We had a board meeting, and we decided that we're going to let Mike do a couple of, what's it called?
Okay, so first of all, we reviewed the bylaws, and the bylaws
say, kiss my ass.
Clearly state
you're taking it wrong. The consensus was we're going to let you do X amount of what's it called?
We have no, don't
but no,
say.
I got to tell him the tagline.
What was
the deal
agreed?
being is he gets to do
here's
a couple of them, and then that's it. He's going to have his own society and culture show, and I'll be his first listener, and that's it. I just stole your thunder.
That is your report on the board meeting? I mean, we had a stenographer taking notes.
Yeah, my God.
We have votes.
Like
we had to go through the bylaws to determine.
Like I was in suspension.
Folks, I mean,
yeah,
so what was determined was that
as we're being nice.
I would be allowed to have several over the next few weeks, whatever, segments.
That's not what was said.
That are very, very short.
We're going to give him a couple of segments, and it's leading to him never, ever, ever doing it again on the show, and he's going to have his own shit.
Here's what the segment is called. The segment is called the If I Was Allowed to Have a Stuff, I'm Not Allowed to Report. And here's the very first. If I was allowed to have a stuff, I'm not allowed to report. If I was allowed to have a stuff, I'm not allowed to report. Here are some of the topics I would not report in the report I'm not reporting. I wouldn't report on Joe Biden's man-eating dog named Commander. I wouldn't report on the Barbie movie. I wouldn't report on Bronny James' heart attack. I wouldn't report on Obama's dead chef. I wouldn't report on Meghan and Harry's impending split. No. And I wouldn't report on try that in a small town. This has been the if I was allowed to have a stuff, I'm not allowed to report. That's it.
I feel like we need an extra for that.
Right. And then y'all a couple more of those, and you get all the report and stuff that he wants to report on that.
All you got to do is follow his feed.
That's right. Absolute love.
That Commander is a vicious.
Should we do a dumb
He should be put down.
I want to hear the music and shit for your show. I will. I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
No, you won't. Yeah, well, don't try to make me feel good. I know you're not.
I will.
You're going to sabotage.
I will listen to it because I want to hear the crazy ass shit you're going to say.
You're going to rile up those bunch of crazies you sucked on me over the weekend.
I didn't do that. You did it to yourself, saying I was suspended. But anyway, it's all good.
Ridiculousness.
It's semantics. I mean, the board.
I'm out there securing television shows to promote us.
We must honor the bylaws, and that's what we're doing.
We don't have bylaws, people.
Y'all have a great weekend out there.
Yeah. Wait, you don't have a Who Stole What?
No, I don't today.
No. You don't have a closer?
Well, I've been working hard for Unspeakable True Podcast by Kelly Jennings, which tonight it goes down, and Woody Overton will be there. Right. Jim Chapman will be there, of course. Mike Agovino will be there.
Ago will be in the house.
And Mike Agovino's wife will be there. Am I allowed to
say anything?
Not right now.
No, I mean at the thing.
Hush, child.
I don't. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, you can speak at it.
Are you guys going to? Am I going to have? Am I going to have one of those ball gags in my mouth? You guys should bring me on stage that way with a ball gag in my mouth.
Hopping.
Oh, my God.
So we wish her luck, and we hope all of y'all have a great weekend.
Yes, and the absolute last day, and I know y'all tired of hearing about it, podcastawards.com.
Vote.
You got to go vote. We told you about all the categories and everything, including Bloody Angola and the history. And please go give us the vote, and hopefully we'll make it to the finals. And
that's right. And before we get out of here today, we do want to mention Operation Underground Railroad. They're doing all kinds of great things to end human trafficking worldwide, globally.
Hey, if we have any listeners that are part of that group already or have an inside hook, we want to contact them and let them know that we're going to promote them because they basically are just saving lives and horror and everything else.
Yeah,
and get one, right?
Nothing more important than our children. So We're going to link, of course, in the show notes, the website where you can go learn more information. Maybe there's an event they have in your area that you can go check out and help promote this wonderful nonprofit.
Yeah, and we're going to end every show with that, y'all.
That's right. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Woody Overton.
And I'm Mike Agovino.
For Real Life, Real Crime Daily, peace.
Jennifer Gatlin.
Shop early, save big, all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.